Hello, hello, and welcome to the channel of the Moon's Prophet. Today, I feel moved to share messages for the new moon in Sagittarius. Let's ground into the chart.
Look at this beautiful chart. Take it in for a second. On Friday, December 19th at 7:43 p.m. Central Time, the new moon arrives. From the perspective of Earth, the sun and moon meet in the sky at 28 degrees Sagittarius. Nearby, Mars and Venus stand on either side witnessing their union. Mars brings the courage to act. Venus reveals what you are drawn toward and why it matters. The Sagittarius new moon is the final new moon of the calendar year. It arrives at an edge of light that is known as the winter solstice. This is the longest night of the year. From this point forward, each night grows shorter. So we are at an inflection point, the bottom of the arc, and this new moon marks the place where descent completes and the slow return of light begins. It also marks our entry into winter, into hibernation, into the quiet where direction is forged. The calendar is only one clock. The deeper clock is the soul's. It tells a kind of time revealed through the astrological birth chart. The new moon in your sun sign is the first new moon of your personal year. For a Libra sun, that moment arrives with the Libra new moon. The new moon that rises in our sun sign brings the living, drumming heart back into the purpose of our identity. From that beginning, the Sagittarius new moon follows as the third chapter, arriving early in the cycle to ask where this renewed self is headed and which meanings are worthy of guiding the way. Likewise, if you are a Gemini sun, the Sagittarius new moon arrives as the seventh new moon of your year. It lands at the midpoint of the cycle, where reflection sharpens awareness. Here, truth is clarified through contrast and encounter, and through the widening lens of perspective that can only emerge after several turns of the wheel. This count reveals your place in time. It shows where you are in the story that opened at your last solar initiation. When you track each new moon by its sign, house, and aspects, a living map of your personal year begins to emerge. This is a way of tracking your becoming as it unfolds. The Sagittarius new moon is the next movement of a journey for which the full moon in Gemini was the most recent step. The Gemini full moon empowered us to embody and speak truths uncovered during the initiations of the Scorpio new moon and Mercury retrograde, which was also in Scorpio. Under this new moon, we are making fresh meaning of where we are, now that we have shifted into deeper alignment with the truths within us. Sagittarius is the seeker, the archer, the journeyer devoted to their path. Sagittarius receives power from Jupiter, the planet of expansion, fortune, and growth. The ancients associated Jupiter with luck because it shines so brightly in the night sky that it's visible even to the naked eye, though it's far away. For centuries, many believed Jupiter was a star, and in truth, it nearly was. If Jupiter were only slightly larger, it would have ignited into one. Humans have long experienced Jupiter as a source of star power, a force of expansion, meaning, and trust in the journey. Jupiter bestows the gift of faith, faith in the path, faith in meaning, faith that the arrow will find its mark in the vast unknown. Pulling power from Jupiter, Sagittarius teaches us that the universe expands in response to our willingness to aim. And the power of our willingness to aim is never more potent than under a new moon. Every new moon is a new beginning, a threshold of meaning, a moment of orientation. This new moon begins something deep within the heart space, because it is anchored by Jupiter in Cancer. The planet of expansion is moving through the wateriest sign. And more than anchoring this beginning, Jupiter enters into a living exchange of power with the moon itself. This is because Jupiter and the new moon are in mutual reception. They form a circle of power. This new moon in Sagittarius pulls power from Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Cancer pulling power from the moon, which is in Sagittarius pulling power from Jupiter, and on and on. They create a circle of power. Meaning and feeling continuously feed one another. The exchange loops and intensifies. So this new moon carries a deeply lunar quality. It spells out expansion in the heart. It is the soft fire of remembering what you long for. We are choosing with a heart that has recently been cleansed by truth. The truths uncovered in Scorpio and embodied under the Gemini full moon now ask for direction under this Sagittarius sky. Let's return to the chart. Here you can see the new moon in Sagittarius and Jupiter in Cancer, and how they receive power from each other through mutual reception. Venus is just 4 degrees away from this new moon, so her energy is present here as well. This means that your desires give you sound direction right now. What you are drawn to reveals the way. Notice closely what attracts your attention. Mars is also nearby, lending heat and momentum to this beginning. Mars brings the courage to act on what you feel. It supplies the will to move, to choose, to dare. I want to highlight this square between Neptune and the new moon. Think of a square as 2 archetypes pressing so intently against each other that a doorway opens between them. In this case, the new moon in Sagittarius and Neptune in Pisces are pressing against each other, and that pressure forces an opening, a way through. Sometimes squares get a bad reputation, but there are no bad or undesirable aspects in astrology. All aspects invite integration, and through integration we become whole and we ascend. It is so beautiful that this new moon is connected to Neptune, because there is a natural resonance between Sagittarius and Neptune. They are connected through Jupiter. Sagittarius receives power from Jupiter, and Jupiter works with Neptune to provide power to Pisces. So this new moon becomes a natural portal to Neptune at the final degree of Pisces. It offers a way to consciously engage the long journey Neptune has been making through this sign. What you begin now under this new moon is infused with Neptune's power to dissolve what is hardened, to reveal what is hidden, to spiritualize what has felt ordinary, to make what matters sacred. The arrow you release enters a field where familiar boundaries soften. Intention becomes soaked in dream, desire grows permeable, and your new path is shaped by the ocean behind your eyelids. Neptune enters Aries on January 26, 2026. We are listening now to the final song of Neptune in Pisces, and this new moon is an instrument through which that song finds its way into your life, and it moves in both directions. Neptune is also a portal to the new moon. Neptune's journey through Pisces has been a great awakening. Through this 15-year passage, we have learned how to pray again, how to pray from the bottommost oceans of our depthless souls, how to surrender without collapsing, how to feel without drowning, how to trust without proof. For many of us, 15 years is a significant portion of a lifetime. During this era, everything has changed. The person who entered this transit is not the one who now prepares to leave it. Under this new moon, you are invited to reflect, to look back across this oceanic stretch of time, to ask yourself, which great spiritual journeys have carried you forward since April 2011 when Neptune first entered Pisces? Which parts of your identity softened so your soul could speak more clearly? Where did your boundaries become more permeable in ways that brought healing and compassion? Which griefs revealed doorways you did not know you were ready to walk through? Which wisdoms have emerged that now live inside you as strength, discernment, and trust? Each revelation of these past years becomes living material for the vision forming now. The arrow you draw under this new moon is shaped by everything Neptune taught you about surrender, intuition, and the holy work of aligning more fully with your soul.
We stand at a threshold as Neptune's journey through Pisces nears its end. This Sagittarius new moon is the second to last new moon that Neptune will bless from this sign in our lifetimes. As we end the era of Neptune in Pisces, our hearts are awakening, and the visions arising now come straight from the soul. They plant themselves at the center of our hearts because they represent the fulfillment of long-held dreams. Meet this moment with your whole being. Let the arrow of your life rise from the visions of your heart. Let it carry the wisdom of the last 15 years, and let it fly toward the futures that are already opening to receive it. I send you all courage, clarity, compassion, and blessings on this new beginning. Until next time.